Mbappe's move to Real Madrid, the transfer that shook the football world. But as the dust settles, a shocking question emerges. Did Real Madrid even need him in the first place? From Vinicius Jr.'s rise to the tactical puzzles that just won't fit, we're examining whether Mbappe's arrival has helped or hindered Los Blancos. Get ready for a deep dive into the unexpected consequences of football's most talked about transfer. Remember when Kylian Mbappe was tearing up the French league with PSG? It wasn't that long ago, but it feels like a lifetime ago given his current struggles. Let's rewind the clock and take a look back at the unstoppable force Mbappe was before his move to Real Madrid. At PSG, Mbappe is nothing short of a goal-scoring machine. And some people might say it's in a farmers league, but I'll leave that to you in the comments. He consistently found the back of the net with ease either way, and he left defenders in his wake. His lightning-fast pace and clinical finishing made him a nightmare for opposing teams. And in the French league, he dominated week in and week out, racking up impressive numbers that had fans and pundits alike singing his praises. But it wasn't just in the domestic league where Mbappe shone. He did take his talents to the biggest stage in world football. At the World Cup, we all saw his talent in display, and there's no doubt he is a phenomenon. It was performances like these that cemented his status as one of the most exciting young talents in world football. And the numbers don't lie when it comes to Mbappe. His goal-scoring record was off the charts at PSG, and he wasn't just putting the ball in the net. His assist numbers were equally impressive, showing that he could create chances for his teammates as well as finish them himself. The combination of goals, assists and chances created painted a picture of a complete forward operating at the peak of his powers. As his performances continued to dazzle, Mbappe became more than just a star for PSG. He evolved into the face of the club, a global superstar whose influence extended far beyond the pitch. His name was on everyone's lips, and his shirt was on fans' backs across the world. The golden boy of football had arrived, and it seemed like there was no limit to what he could achieve. With all the success under his belt, Mbappe's long-awaited move to Real Madrid looked like a match made in heaven. Fans and experts alike were convinced that his arrival would elevate Real's attack to unprecedented levels. The prospect of Mbappe linking up with players like Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo had supporters salivating. It seemed like a guaranteed triumph, a transfer that would define an era. But football has a funny way of surprising us. The reality of Mbappe's time at Real Madrid so far has been starkly different from what everyone expected. The unstoppable force that terrorised defences in France has struggled to find his feet in Spain. The contrast between expectations and reality couldn't be more pronounced. So what exactly went wrong when Mbappe arrived in Spain? How did the player who seemed destined for greatness at Real Madrid end up struggling to make an impact? The answers lie in a complex web of tactical issues, pressure, and the fundamental differences between League One and La Liga. Let's dive deeper into these factors and see if we can unravel the mystery of Mbappe's Madrid malaise. Picture this. You've got a Ferrari, but you're trying to use it as a delivery truck. That's the dilemma Real Madrid faces with Mbappe. His blazing speed and lethal finishing are undeniable, but he's being misused in a system that doesn't suit his strengths. When Mbappe arrived at the Bernabeu, Real Madrid had a well-oiled machine. Ancelotti's diamond midfield was working wonders, with Vinicius Jr. terrorising defences on the left wing. But how do you fit a superstar into an already successful setup? That's the puzzle Ancelotti's been trying to solve, and it's not been easy. The first problem is positional. Mbappe thrives on the left for PSG, but that's Vinicius Jr.'s territory at Real Madrid. These two speedsters are now in direct competition for the same spot, so one of them has to take a back seat. So what's Ancelotti's solution? He's tried to shoehorn Mbappe into a central striker role. But here's the thing, Mbappe isn't your typical number 9. He's not the kind of player who will hold up the ball with his back to goal or win aerial duels. His game is all about making those devastating runs in behind the defence, and the stats tell a pretty clear story. In one match, Mbappe is caught offside 8 times, and that's not the Mbappe we knew from PSG. It's a sign that he's struggling to time his runs in the new central role. And we've also seen Mbappe struggle playing the striker role at France at times, and he's way more effective on the left. The stats tell a pretty clear story. He's used to having more space on the wing, where he can pick his moments and burst forward. And if you look at Mbappe's heat maps from PSG and compare them to his current ones at Madrid, the difference is striking. At PSG, he was all over that left side, popping up in pockets of space and wreaking havoc. Now he's often isolated up top, trying to lead the line in a way that just doesn't come to him naturally. But here's the real kicker. These changes aren't just affecting Mbappe. The whole team's chemistry seems a bit off. Ancelotti's had to ditch his successful diamond formation for a 4-3-3 to try and accommodate Mbappe. It's like trying to force a square peg into a round hole, as the saying goes, and the entire team is feeling the effects. Vinicius Jr., who was the main man last season, now has to share the spotlight. And sometimes it works, but often it feels like they're getting in each other's way. The fluid interchanging attack that made Madrid so dangerous last year has lost some of its spark. So we've got to ask, Is Mbappe's incredible talent being wasted in this new position? Well, it's starting to look that way, and the French superstar is still capable of moments of brilliance, but he's not the unstoppable force we saw at PSG. It's like watching a caged cheetah. The speed and power are there, but it can't be fully unleashed. The question now is whether Ancelotti can find a way to get the best out of Mbappe without disrupting the rest of the team. It's a delicate balancing act, and so far it's proven to be one of the toughest challenges of his managerial career, unless you consider his time at Everton a challenge as well. But we won't get into that. Tactical troubles aren't the only thing weighing on Mbappe's mind. There's another factor at play here, and it's a big one. The pressure of being Real Madrid's new Galactico is no joke, and it might be taking its toll on the young Frenchman. Let's take a closer look at how those sky-high expectations are affecting Mbappe's game. Remember when Mbappe was tearing up League and the Champions League defences for fun? Well, those highlight reels seem like ancient history now. What's changed for the French superstar? And is there a deeper issue bubbling beneath the surface? When Mbappe arrived at Real Madrid, he wasn't just another signing. He was supposed to be the new Galactico, the face of the new era for the world's biggest club. The weight of expectation on his shoulders was enormous. Fans dreamed of him leading Madrid to Champions League glory, dominating El Clasicos, and bringing back the Ballon d'Or to the Bernabeu. But the reality has been very different. Mbappe's performances have been a far cry from what we saw at PSG. The explosive pace and clinical finishing that made him a nightmare for defenders in France seems to have deserted him in Spain. It's not just that he's not scoring as much. His overall impact on games has diminished. The Spanish media have never been known for their patience, and they've been quick to criticise. And after a 4-0 defeat to Barcelona, where Mbappe failed to make an impact, the headlines were brutal. They questioned his ability to adapt, his work rate, and even his commitment to the club. And that's the kind of criticism that can shake even the most confident of players. And it's not just the media. You can feel the frustration growing among the fans. The Bernabeu crowd, who were so excited to welcome Mbappe, are now showing signs of impatience. Every missed chance is met with groans, every misplaced pass met with whistles. It's a far cry from the adoration he enjoyed at PSG. So how is Mbappe handling all the pressure? Well, if you look closely, you can see the signs of a player struggling with confidence. His body language on the pitch has changed. He looks frustrated, less engaged. The joy that was so evident in his play at PSG seems to have evaporated. After missed opportunities, he looks dejected, shoulders slumped, head down. The emotional toll is starting to show in his performances. Mbappe's decision-making seems rushed, as if he's trying too hard to prove himself with every touch. He's been caught offside more often, suggesting he's so eager to make an impact that he's mistiming his runs, and it's really impacting his game. It's a vicious cycle. The more he struggles, the more pressure he feels, and the more his performances suffer. Perhaps the most telling sign of Mbappe's state of mind is his retreat from the public eye. His social media activity has dropped off significantly. There are fewer posts of him celebrating his performances or engaging with fans, and it's as if he's trying to shield himself from the constant scrutiny and criticism. Reports suggest that Mbappe is devastated emotionally by his struggles at Real Madrid. It's a stark reminder that even the world's best players are human, susceptible to the pressure and self-doubt. The question now, though, is can Mbappe find a way to overcome these mental hurdles and rediscover his best form? Some of the best players throughout history have had significant mental hurdles. Some of the best players have had significant hurdles that they've had to overcome, and that's what makes them truly elite players. So Mbappe needs to also do that if he wants to elevate himself into that upper tier. Mbappe's struggles aren't happening in isolation. They're having a ripple effect across the entire Real Madrid team. So what's the impact on the squad as a whole? How are Mbappe's teammates and the club's results being affected by his difficulties? Let's take a closer look at the wider implications for Los Blancos. Real Madrid's dream of dominating with Mbappe has turned into a bit of a nightmare. The team that was supposed to conquer all is now struggling to keep up. Their performances have taken a nosedive since Mbappe's arrival, with more losses, fewer goals scored, and a leaky defence. It's not just in La Liga either. They're languishing in 18th place in the Champions League group. This isn't the Real Madrid we're used to seeing. But it's not just about the results. The ripple effect of Mbappe's struggles are causing havoc across the entire team. Take Jude Bellingham, for example. Remember when he was scoring those crucial goals that had everyone talking? Well, those days are long gone. With Mbappe in the mix, Bellingham's been pushed further back away from goal. And what's the result of that? His goals have dried up, and it's like watching a completely different player. And that doesn't mean Jude Bellingham isn't good anymore, but you can definitely see that he lacks the goal-scoring threat he had last season, for sure. And what about Rodrigo? He's another one feeling the Mbappe effect. The Brazilian youngster's playing time has taken a hit, as Real Madrid have tried to figure out how they fit their new superstar into the lineup. And it's not just about minutes on the pitch either. Rodrigo's role in the attack has changed, and he's not getting involved in the offensive moves as much as he used to. And let's look at some numbers. Real Madrid's attack, once feared across Europe, is now sputtering. They're scoring fewer goals and creating fewer chances. The fluid dynamic play that made them so dangerous, well, that's disappeared. Instead, we're seeing a team that looks disjointed and out of sync. So the big question is, can Real Madrid afford to keep trying to fit Mbappe in? It's not just about one player anymore. The entire team's balance is off, and the results are showing it. Carlo Ancelotti's tactical tweaks haven't worked out, and there's growing frustration among the players. Behind the scenes, things aren't looking great either. Reports suggest there's unrest in the dressing room. Players are feeling sidelined, and the team's struggling to find a cohesive attacking strategy. It's not just about Mbappe's individual performance anymore. His presence is affecting the whole team's morale and effectiveness. Experts are starting to raise concerns about Real Madrid's long-term planning. They spent big on Mbappe, in terms of signing on fees and salary, but at what cost? The team's chemistry, which was so crucial to their success, has been disrupted. There's a growing feeling that something needs to change and fast before the situation gets worse. So what's next for Mbappe and Real Madrid? Can they turn this around, or is this experiment doomed to fail? The next few months will be crucial. Real Madrid needs to find a way to get the best out of Mbappe without sacrificing the rest of the team. It's a tough balancing act, and right now, they're struggling to get it right. But that doesn't mean they won't get it right long term. It has only been a few months into the new season, and some players need some time to gel and adapt to their teammates. And with the quality Mbappe has, I don't doubt that he'll be able to find a way and evolve as a player, because he has to. But what do you think? Mbappe still become a Madrid legend? Or do you think this is doomed to fail? I personally think it's too early to write him off, but the next months are crucial for both players and club to turn things around. Remember, even legends like Zidane and Ronaldo had tough starts to Madrid before becoming icons. Mbappe's talent is undeniable, but he just needs time to adapt. Looking ahead, there's some big matches for Real Madrid, primarily in the Champions League, where they face Liverpool and Atlanta. And those are games they have to win. As I said, they're languishing in 18th place, so they really need to buck their ideas up. But that could also present Mbappe with a massive chance to shine and elevate him to that level for Real Madrid. These games often bring out the best and world-class players, so this will be a real litmus test for Mbappe and his Real Madrid career. If he can find his form and build chemistry with his teammates, we might see the Mbappe we all expected. So can Mbappe overcome these early struggles and become a Real Madrid legend, or is this experiment doomed to fail? The jury's still out, but one thing's for sure, the football world will be watching closely.